Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. I know I said last week that the videos were going to be done for this year. I lied. There's still multiple things to talk about. Of course, I'm Casey Campbell. You should know that by now. And pleased to be once again joined by a regular on this channel, Nathan Solomon from the Podium Finish. How's it going, man?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good. As you are now home from Bonnieland for the holidays. So. I mean, the next 2 weeks, I know there's not going to be a lot of news because of, with Christmas and New Year's coming up as well as other holidays and as well. But really just kind of, it's been kind of an interesting day. Let's just start with the big news of today. This literally just broke a bunch of hours ago, but M&M's announced, or the Mars brand, Mars Corporation, which is M&M's, Skittles, Snickers, Starburst, all those candies come from there. They announced that they're not going to be in NASCAR past 2022. So definitely a big shock to a lot of people, but they've been in the sport since the 90s. They've been with Kyle since 2008, basically his whole tenure with Gibbs. So this shocked a lot of people, and this is a big hit to the sport because one of its longest tenured brands is leaving.
Yeah, huge surprise there. I mean, I don't think anybody really saw that coming. I mean, M&M's and the Mars company, they've sponsored Kyle for over 30 races, just about every season that he's been with Joe Gibbs. So, of course, one more season with the M&M's colors on the car. But in 2023, I mean, that number 18 car is going to have an entirely different brand. I mean, I know we've seen a little bit from Interstate Batteries before, a little bit from Sports Clips, especially both of those on the Xfinity side more, but I think you'll see those kind of be incorporated into the 18 more in 2023. But of course, I think there'll be another big sponsor kind of coming in to fill that void. So I'm excited to see what that'll be.
Similar to a lot of people are comparing to when Jimmy Johnson, when Lowe's left Jimmy. Obviously, when Lowe's left, Ally Financial came in and stepped up, and obviously they're now on the car for all the races. They're actually contracted through 2023. But yeah, this is gonna be another. Apparently, they've known about this since last summer. So they've been they've been working and preparing for this since then. So it's not like they just found out about this. They've known this for a while. So obviously the work is there. Obviously, Interstate Batteries will be on the car in 2023 as well. But yeah, it's definitely a big hit. I know that, and I know that Kyle and Joe Gibbs Racing announced statements on that. But yeah, it's definitely this is an iconic brand of candy, and it's still it's even though obviously it's gonna suck that they're leaving, but obviously as a new company will step up and get there. Obviously Kyle Busch is a driver that a lot of people want to be with, and then of course 2023 is when his contract's going to expire. Bob Parker's confirmed that today, so that he'll be in the car past 2022. So be interesting to see how all that goes.
Kyle's gonna need a new nickname. They call him the Candyman when he's in the 18 car. So
we'll have to work on that.
Unless it's a new candy bar company, unless it's Hershey's or something. I don't know. You'll have to find a new nickname.
I mean, Hershey's is in the sport. I mean, Reese's is in the sport with. I know they sponsor a lot with Arca, so you never know. He could still be the Candyman. I know that. And I know that there's been a lot of companies out there, but you never know. You never know when these companies will come back and stuff. With the amount of companies coming back coming in and out of the sport, there's definitely a lot of movement in between a lot of them. So we'll have to see on that. Hey, there's gonna be a lot of horsepower coming to NASCAR this season. You like last Friday? I know we kind of talked about it last week, and we'll talk about it even more later on this week. But yeah, just we're going to get some more horsepower at the intermediate tracks. How about that?
I love it. I mean, I think just about everybody's been an advocate for more horsepower. I mean, fans, media, of course, the drivers. I mean, when, looking at those first few oval tests, I mean, when they were running the 550 horsepower, I mean, lap times were way down. They're kind of in the 32s, 33s. And with this most recent next-gen test, they kind of bumped up that horsepower to 670. And we started to see times more similar to these last couple of years of the Gen 6 car. And I think that's really what NASCAR liked. I mean, the cars are very difficult to drive. We saw a lot of different spins and guys testing the cars and pushing them pushing them to their limits. I mean, they're handfuls, and that's what they need to be. They need to be more similar to the Xfinity Series package in that sense. So with more horsepower, it makes guys work the gas pedal more, makes them not just go into all the corners on the 1.5 2 miles wide open and just run the bottom line. Like they're gonna have to try different lines. They're gonna have to be able to work the gas, work the brake, work the wheel, maybe even have to downshift in some of these corners, So that'll make it for some really exciting action. Hopefully these 1.5 2 mile tracks will get better with this new package. But really excited to see that we're basically gonna have 32 of our 36 races with a 670 package.
I'm excited for Auto Club now.
Me
I'm
too.
excited for my track at Michigan. Well, Michigan was a good race last year, but that also depends on who you ask. But
I'm excited to get to see them back at Auto Club.
yeah, they haven't been at Auto Club in like 2 years. So, and who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's some interesting things about that place, but who knows? But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see that. And obviously, we'll talk more into that as the week goes on. But yeah, also some other news that came out of Friday. It looks like Michael McDowell is going to have a new crew chief.
He is. I mean, out of nowhere, kind of Drew Blickensderfer just leaves Front Row Motorsports right in the middle of the next gen test. Kind of a little bit of a surprise there. Of course, seeing what Michael did, winning the Daytona 500 and going to the playoffs. Of course, that run got cut short, did not make it past the round of 16. But yeah, he'll be looking for a new crew chief, and I wonder where Drew Blickensderfer is going to be going.
You don't leave something if you don't have something lined up. So
exactly.
Who knows? I mean, obviously there's also a lot of teams out there that haven't announced crew chiefs yet. There's a few Cup teams, few Xfinity teams. Obviously there's still some questions on the truck side as well. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that all goes. I know we kind of talked about this last week with Jonathan. But want to get your thoughts on this as well. Our Motorsports announced their lineup on Thursday. Brett Moffitt in the 02, Anthony Alfredo in the 23, Jeb Burton in the 27. They're a 3-car team. That's kind of a surprise. I think it's also more of a surprise when I talked to Anthony Alfredo last week. This deal was put together the week of, and they didn't get finalized until the day before the announcement was actually going to go out. So what are your thoughts on the Our Motorsports announcement? Because I think it caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they went up to 3 cars, but I kind of like it though. I mean, Brett Moffitt, he's had a ton of success in the truck series, and he has some of that raw talent that I think can really get showcased with our Motorsports again. He didn't have a bad year last year. Of course, that equipment isn't quite up to the standard of what he has driven in the past, but I think that overall, those cars have pretty quality equipment and brings a lot of experience there too. I mean, Jeb Burton, of course, he won a race with Colleague last year. He's looking for another opportunity. He's on a 2-year deal there. Brings a little bit of veteran experience there in a sense. He's ran some Cup races there in the past. Of course, Anthony Alfredo was just full time with Front Row in 2021. I think that he kind of got pushed up a little bit, to run Cup when he wasn't really ready. So I think this is maybe a welcome step backwards for him to kind of polish up some more of that talent. But overall, our Motorsports has 3 really talented race car drivers. And I know it might be a little bit of a struggle for them to get equipment ready and everything, and just gauging where they are compared to some of these other teams. But we've got a lot of talent in those 3 seats. I think they can go out and be really competitive this year.
Okay. There's been a lot of other, bits and pieces of things that have happened so far. But overall, in the last few months of the so-called silly season, which I just absolutely love. What has been the biggest surprise to you?
Ooh, biggest surprise.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards maybe saying that maybe of GMS going Cup race, just a whole GMS Petty situation with them going Cup racing, hiring Ty Dillon, and then this merger with Petty. That's a former Petty GMS. I don't think I ever expected that to happen, so I'll kind of go with that. But I think that'll better everybody off. I think that those 2 cars will be pretty competitive, and I think they can go out and have real solid seasons there. But the Cup Series is going to be the most competitive it's really ever been. I think there's only going to be Really a few so-called bottom feeder rides out there in the Cup Series. Now there might be a few more trying to qualify every week now that there's going to be practice and qualifying every week. But I mean, there's a lot of really good cars in the Cup Series this year. So I'm excited to see how that all plays out. But yeah, I think probably Petty GMS. That's my biggest surprise.
And if you think the Cup Series is going to be competitive, wait till you see what Xfinity is going to look like.
Yeah, Xfinity is gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of guys in the Xfinity series have Cup experience. I mean, more good rides than ever. I know I said that just for the Cup Series, but it's true. RCR going back to 2 cars. Of course, Joe Gibbs will have 3 or 4 really good cars. Who else am I missing? I mean,
Motorsports.
Oh yeah, Junior Motorsports. I don't know why I just blanked there. But yeah, there's probably going to be about 15 or so really good cars, and then maybe another 15 like still, pretty, I guess, middle of the pack, still, can maybe pull out a top 10 here and there type rides. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's the best package there is in NASCAR. Guys are super aggressive, lots of drama, lots of fun racing. So it's going to be a fun 33 race slate. Going to a new track, a new road course, Portland. Can't wait.
West. So yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. The Truck Series will be interesting as well. And I know that silly season picture is kind of being put together. And we'll discuss this all because guess what? We're going to have our Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks. All 3 series are going to get their own show. We're going to talk about and dissect all of that though. But over your quick thought on Trucks a little bit. You got a lot of I know that field is still getting put together as well. But what are you thinking there? Because biggest storyline is GMS going down to 2 trucks. KBM's probably the strongest it's ever been. Thor Sports coming off another championship. And then you look at BMR switching to Chevy, and then Zane Smith going to front row, and also Ettore going to 2 trucks.
I think it's kind of the same thing as last year. Toyotas. There's a lot of really good Toyotas in the field again. So I mean, I expect that Toyotas will kind of sort of run the table, if you will, and have a really strong season, especially with GMS only going down to 2 trucks. But John Hunter's back for another year with KBM, and I'm sure he'll be super hungry. And then of course Zane Smith in a competitive front row truck. I mean, that should be another fun series as well, or another fun season rather.
Yeah.
I'd love for some of these guys maybe to dial back the over aggressiveness, if you will, and maybe have a little bit of that respect factor again this year. So that'd be nice, but I'd still love to see aggression and great racing there.
No, the aggression's not going away. It's either you get moved or in some cases you get wrecked, and that's basically how it's kind of how racing's kind of going now. But obviously that's going to be another discussion for another day. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting for sure to see how all that ends up. But yeah, all right. Well, that's going to do it unless other news comes out this week. I know the next 2 weeks are going to be maybe kind of quiet as a lot of teams are off for the holiday break, and then it's going to ramp up as we get into January. We get into the LA Clash, and we're only 62 days away until the Daytona 500. So it's going to be coming. I know you've been busy with a lot of college basketball, and I know I've been slammed trying to figure out where everyone's going to go. I know there's still a lot of teams that still have to announce. We still haven't heard from a lot of teams. We're going to hear from them in the next definitely in the next month as the season gets closer.
There's going to be a ton of next gen testing next month as well. I think there's going to be. Right now, there's 2 organizational tests scheduled. It sounds like a third might get scheduled at Atlanta here. So there'll be cars on the track too in January. So that's always fun.
Oh yeah, big time. All right. Well, Nathan, always good to talk to you, man. We'll have more of these videos. Well, we might have one or 2 more of these videos next week. I have some other ideas for some other videos, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more too.